So yeah, I don't know what happened, y'all. I was trying to change the orientation of this video, but it don't want to change. So I'm like, whatever. Like, we gonna do it like this. But yes, we back at it. YouTube, back at it. Another Monday in effect, man. How was y'all week? I hope y'all enjoyed y'all weekend. I, um, I don't intend to do these on a Monday, but somehow it just lands on a Monday. I was actually gonna do it yesterday, but I've been hella busy. Working on my second book release. It's been 3 years since I wrote a book. A lot has happened in between that time. A lot of growth. I learned a lot since I wrote my first one. Well, should I say first? Let me take that back. Since I published my first one, I wrote a couple of books actually, but I only published one. So like I got a whole bunch of like chicken scratch, structured books, different things, notes all over the place of books. But I only have, this is my second one being published. So I wrote them all out and I want to release them in order based off of how I feel like I've got to where I got in my life and what lessons I've learned throughout my life and the the mythology that I use behind that. My bad, y'all started thinking about something. But the mythology I had when I was using that, so that was really the method to my madness. But I also feel like too, like if a book idea comes up and I feel like this would makes more sense in my life to release as well, yeah, I'm just dropping. I'm just dropping. Like why hold on to it, man? Your dreams die with you when you die. So you might as well get them out and share them with the world. Don't hold on to them. And for a while, that was my struggle. Dang, where the hell is that damn fuego? For the while, that was my struggle. Just y'all know how I do. Y'all know I gotta fire up. Nigga talking about fire up. But y'all know, but that was my struggle for a while, y'all. Oops, that was my struggle. Just I don't know if it was the Virgo in me just waiting for something to feel like it got to be perfect before releasing it. And I was kind of stuck on that for a while. Like, oh man, I got to do this. Like it has to be this before I release it. It has to look like this before I release it. And now to the point where I'm like, man, I don't even care, bro. I just want the world to hear about it. I want the world to see it. I want the world to know because I feel like it's important. And I hope other people feel like it's important too, you know. Yeah, I feel like I'm not shit. Like I have so much to grow, so much to learn. I just, like I said, hope, and that's the perfect word to use. I hope that people feel that it's important as I feel it's important as they can feel it's important for them as well, and possibly change their life too. So yeah, I wrote a few books with the intent of releasing them in order. But if something comes up to me that I feel is important and needs to be released out to the world, yeah, I'm not hesitating. So y'all know what it is. We are doing what chapter we on? I think I put we might be at 5, y'all. We getting through the thing. That's crazy. Did he do that on purpose? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we're on chapter 5, and chapter 5 is titled "The Five Laws of Gold." And the book is so old that I don't think he did this because of the age and the time period. Because I'm sure people was putting chapters in books around this time anyway. But the Five Laws of Gold titled, is chapter 5. So chapter 5 is called The Five Laws of Gold, which if I just read this briefly, that's 15 pages, 7186. So, yes, that's where we at. You got a problem? A book can fix it. Yo, I be so silly, bro. I be hella crazy. I be wilding, bro. But I gotta laugh, bro. I gotta laugh to keep from, you know what I mean, spazzing out. For real. But no, the richest man in Babylon. You got a problem? There's a book for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all see my short that I just did, but I said, I said, you want to know about stock? There's a book for it. You want to learn about rich people? There's a book for it. You want to learn, like, there's a book for it, bro. Any problem you got. Nigga, I got this problem going on. There's a book for that. There's a book for that. There's a book for that, bro. There's a book for that, too. So like any problem you got, there's a book. You got to just be open for the fact that there is a book for that problem that you have. So and understand that. But yeah, Richest Man in Babylon. We're getting to it now. This book has changed my life, y'all. That's why I want to do this book in bed. But this is what's up. I'm giving y'all a preview, y'all. I don't know. I haven't did this before. You know what I'm saying? I'm expressing my level of excitement. I'm expressing my level of excitement. But yes, this book. I need to clean this dust jacket. Why is it? For some reason, I don't know why this dust jacket is so. Let me see what the hard copy said. This is a beautifully made book, bro. Like, it's so beautiful. Can't wait till I write books this beautiful. But, and I know y'all see it. Oh, y'all didn't see it. I told y'all, I don't see my other post. We no longer doing dollar bucks. We're not doing dollars for our bookmarks no more. We went from this to this. So now we're only doing Hunduns, blues, nigga, Crips. No, he ain't talking about no gang shit. But yeah, Crips. Well, we with the moles though. But definitely. That's all we doing. But yes, this is the next book here. So be on the lookout for this. It's coming soon. I'm actually about to read this book and bang this book out. Because, like, this will probably be my third time reading this book since I got it. I know I've read it at least once. So I think this might be my third time reading it. But yes, Money, the true story of a made-up thing. Like, that title alone is crazy. I'm not going to get too much on this because I know we focus on this. So I'm not going to put this in y'all brain. But yes, like, just think about that title 1 second. Just think about that title. Money, the true story of a made-up thing. Like, the level of detail that this book goes into about where money came from, why money exists, how money got to where it is now, what money used to look like. Like, it blows my mind, bro. Like, when I first read this book, I was just like, it makes so much sense. Because it brought out things that I knew about already historically, and then it validated with that. But then it kind of took that timeline and brought it to the present day and even the future where we're going with money and how it's made up and we give it its value. So, yeah, very powerful. But yeah, so preview. Did what we read next. As far as books for better living, I'll probably be done with this in a couple days. Maybe a week, just to be honest, because we got so much other stuff going on. But yeah, so y'all should be seeing this one next week. I'm trying to be consistent with dropping on YouTube every week, even if it's just a short or something, y'all. Let's go. The road to 1,000. Let's get it. A road to 1,000 followers. Got a fucking problem and son of bunk like that. Yo, I'm trying to work on my cussing. I know I said that before, but I get that when I get there. But definitely, I'm definitely consciously applying effort. So yeah, we're only doing these now, y'all. Promise y'all. Let's get it. 1,000. I put up the road to 1,000, and by the time I get to the road to 1,000, I want to have $1,000 in my books. So 10 books with these. That's the goal, to have 10 books with these. Like, let's fucking work, y'all. Come on now. What else is there to do besides work? I don't even know why I brought this book out. This is como mi Biblia. All right, y'all. So where we at with it? Let me light the palo son. Let me light the palo santo. Otra vez, and we'll get started. So I hope you had a good weekend, man. I know nobody's in my live because my live is not popping like that yet, but I envision it, bro. I envision thousands of people being in my live, millions of people being in my live. So, millions of views. Y'all hearing this motivation, y'all hearing this aspiration right now. For anybody that's noticing this, hold me accountable for it and then look back. And hopefully when time fast forward for however long it takes for this to come into fruition, whatever I'm talking about, you can be that person that be like, man, Waters, you said that, bro. You said it on live on October 14th. You said it on live. I documented in the comments. Hopefully, y'all can bring me and hold me accountable, and whoever can do that at that time, I'll just cash out them some type of random number amount of money. It'll be over $100 for sure. Like, who wouldn't take a free 100? Like, even a rich person, like 100, I wipe my ass with it, but why not? Give it to somebody else. All right, let's get to it, y'all. Y'all know I gotta do my little British accent. I want to know what accent Buddy was, though, the dude who I read. The dude who I read this book for the first time. I wonder what his accent was, what country he was from. That man said, "The Richest Man from in Babylon" by George S. Clason. I don't know why that's so funny to me. It's one of them. Don't worry if I don't think it's funny. It's one of them things that you got to be there to laugh. Plus, y'all wasn't in my head, obviously. So, but yes, bro, that shit was hilarious, bro. I was tapped in. I'm way more tapped in than I was then when I first read this book. But I was tapping in. Hold on, I want to really get that Palo Santo going. Something like that. Hold on, real quick. My man said, "The Richest Man in Babylon" by George S. Clason. Ah. Bro, 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 bro. All right, it's almost there. Oh my God, I got to burn my motherfucking hand. Shit. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. We already got down, what, 12 minutes in? All right, let's get to it. The Five Laws of Gold. A bag heavy with gold or a clay tablet carved with words of wisdom. If thou hast thy choice, which wilt thou choose? By the flickering light from the fire of the desert shrubs, the sun-tanned faces of the listeners gleam with interest. The gold, chorused the 27. Old Calabad smiled knowingly. "Hark," he resumed, raising his hand. "Hear the wild dogs out there in the night. They howl and wail because they are lean with hunger. Yet feed them in what they do, fight and strut, then fight and strut some more, giving no thought to the morrow that will surely come. Just so it is with the sons of men. Give them a choice of gold and wisdom. What do? Ignore the wisdom and waste the gold. On the morrow they will wail because they have no more gold." Damn, boy, how you starting the chapter off coming in like that? Yeah, Lee, that boy came. Why how you come in? You heard what he just said? I'm already about the scripture. Rewind that motherfucker. All right. Just so it is with the sons of men. Give them a choice of gold and wisdom. What do? Ignore the wisdom and waste the gold. On the morrow they will wail because they have no more gold. People want the gold over the wisdom, boy. I just don't understand that. Gold is reserved for those who know its laws and abide by them. One of the quotes from one of the principles in the money book I'm writing. This reminds me of money takes care of it. Money takes care of those that take care of it. Gold is reserved for those who knows its laws and abide by them. Apologies, I'm really slow, y'all, but I'm really trying to like soak this in and like, you know what I'm saying, study this with y'all. Calabad drew his white robe close about his lean legs, for a cool night wind was blowing. Because thou hast served me faithfully upon our long journey, because thou cared well for my camels, because thou toiled uncomplainingly across the hot sands of the desert, because thou fought bravely the robbers that sought to despoil my merchandise, I will tell thee this night the tale of the 5 laws of gold, such a tale as thou never hast heard before. Hark ye with deep intention to the words I speak, for if you grasp their meaning and heed them, in the days that come thou shalt have much gold. He paused impressively. Above, in a canopy of blue, the stars shone brightly in the crystal clear skies of Babylonia. Behind the group loomed their faded tents tightly staked against possible desert storms. Beside the tents were neatly stacked bales of merchandise covered with skins. Nearby the camel herd sprawled in the sand, some chewing their cuds cunningly, others snoring in hoarse discord. Thou hast told us many good tales, Calibat, spoke up the chief pastor. We look to thy wisdom to guide us upon the morrow when our service with thee shall be at an end. I have but told thee of adventures in strange and distant lands, but this might I should tell thee of the wisdom of Arcad, the wise rich man. Much have we heard of him, acknowledged the chief packer, for he was the richest man that ever lived in Babylon. The richest man he was, and that because he was wise in the ways of gold, even as no man had ever been before him. This night shall I tell you of his great wisdom as it was told to me by Namasir, his son, many years ago in Nineveh when I was but a lad. My master and myself have tarried long into the night in the place of Namasir. I had helped my master bring great bundles of fine rugs, each one to be tried by Namasir until his choice of colors was satisfied. At last he was well pleased and commanded us to sit with him and to drink a rare vintage odorous to the nostrils and most warming to my stomach, which was unaccustomed to such a drink. Then did he tell us this tale of the great wisdom of Arcad, his father, even as I should tell it to you. In Babylon, it is the custom, as you know, that the sons of wealthy fathers live with their parents in expectation of inheriting their estate. Arcad did not approve of this custom. Therefore, when Namasir reached man's estate, he sent for the young man and addressed him. My son, it is my desire that thou succeed to my estate. Thou must, however, first prove that thou art capable of wisely handling it. Therefore, I wish that thou go into the world and show thy ability both to acquire gold and to make thyself respected among men. To start thee well, I will give thee two things of which I myself was denied when I started as a poor youth to build up a fortune. First, I give thee this bag of gold. If thou use it wisely, it will be the basis of thy fortune's future success. Second, I give thee this clay tablet upon which is carved the 5 laws of gold. If thou dost but interpret them in thy own acts, they shall bring thee competence and security. 10 years from this day, come thou back to the house and of thy father and give account of thyself. If thou prove worthy, I would then make thee the heir to my estate. Otherwise, I will give it to the priest that may barter for my soul the kind of consideration of the gods. So Namasir went forth to make his own way, taking his bag of gold, the clay tablet carefully wrapped in silken cloth, his slave, and the horses upon which they rode. Damn, he still did start off with a good amount, though. They heard what he just said. That man said a clay tablet, pretty much a book, a bag of gold, some silk clothes, a slave, and a horse. The 10 years passed, and Namasir, as he had agreed, returned to the house of his father, who provided a great feast in his honor, to which he invited many friends and relatives. After the feast was over, the father and mother mounted their throne-like seats at one side of the great hall, and Namasir stood before them to give an account of himself as he had promised his father. It was evening. The room was hazy with smoke from the wicks of the oil lamps that but dimly lighted it. Slaves in white woven jackets and tunics fanned the humid air rhythmically with long stem palm leaves. A stately dignity colored the scene. The wife of Nomasir and his 2 young sons, with friends and other members of the family, sat upon rugs behind him, eager listeners. My father, he began deferentially, I bow before thy wisdom. 10 years ago, when I stood at the gates of manhood, thou bade me go forth and become a man among men, instead of remaining a vassal to thy fortune. Thou gave me liberty of thy gold, thou gave me liberty of thy wisdom. Of the gold, alas, I must admit of a disastrous handling. It fled indeed from my inexperienced hands, even as a wild hare flees at the first opportunity from the youth who captures it. The father smiled indulgently. Continue, my son. Thy tale interests me in all its details. I decided to go to Nineveh as it was a growing city, believing I might find there opportunities. I joined a caravan, and among its members made numerous friends. 2 well-spoken men who had a most beautiful white horse as fleet as the wind were among these. As we journeyed, they told me in confidence that in Nineveh was a wealthy man who owned a horse so swift that it had never been beaten. Its owners believed that no horse living could run with greater speed. Therefore, would he wager any sum, however large, that his horse could outspeed any horse in all of Babylonia. Compared to their horse, so my friend said, it was but a lumbering ass that could be beaten with ease. They offered as a great favor to permit me to join them in the wager. I was quite carried away with the plan. Our horse was badly beaten and I lost much of my gold. The father laughed. Later, I discovered that this was a deceitful plan of these men, and they constantly journeyed with caravans seeking victims. You see, the man in Nineveh was their partner and shared with them the bets he won. This shrewd deceit taught me my first lesson in looking out for myself. I was soon to learn another equally bitter. In the caravan was another young man with whom I became quite friendly. He was the son of wealthy parents and, like myself, journeying to Nineveh to find a suitable location. Not long after our arrival, he told me that a merchant had died and his shop was its rich merchandise. It had what he said had died and his shop with its rich merchandise and patronage could be secured at a paltry price, saying that we will be equal partners, but first he must return to Babylon to secure his gold. He prevailed upon me to purchase the stock with my gold, agreeing that he would use later to carry on our venture. He long delayed the trip to Babylon, proving in the meantime to be an unwise buyer and a foolish spender. I finally put him out, but not before the business had deteriorated to where we had only unsellable goods and no gold to buy the goods. I sacrificed what was left to an Israelite for a penniful sum. Soon there followed, I tell you, my father, bitter days. I sought employment and found it not, for I was without trade or training that would enable me to earn. I sold my horses, I sold my slave, I sold my extra robes that I might have food and a place to sleep. But each day grim went crouched closer. But in those bitter days I remember thy confidence in me, my father. Thou hadst sent me forth to become a man, and this I was determined to accomplish. Boy, I like that, boy. That's how you talk to him. Let me get a little water break. He said, and I was accomplished. I was determined. That man said he was determined to accomplish. Determination. I was determined to accomplish. The mother buried her face and wept softly. At this time I bethought me of the tablet thou had given to me, upon which thou had carved the 5 laws of gold. Thereupon I read most carefully thy words of wisdom and realized that I had but sought wisdom first. My gold would have not been lost to me. Man, I'll tell you. I learned by heart each law and determined that when once more the goddess of good fortune smiled upon me, I will be guided by the wisdom of age and not by the inexperience of youth. For the benefit of you are who are seated here this night, I would read the wisdom of my father's father as engraved upon the clay tablet which he gave to me 10 years ago. The 5 laws of gold. Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. Number 2. Gold labor diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who find for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Number 3, gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invested under the advice of men wise in its handling. Number 4, gold slippeth away from the man who invests in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. Number 5, gold flees from the man who forced it to impossible earnings or who followed the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires and investments. Damn. These are the 5 laws of gold as written by my father. I do proclaim them as of greater value than gold itself, as I was shown by the continuance of my tale. He again faced his father. I have told thee of the depth of poverty and despair to which my inexperience brought me. However, there is no chain of disasters that will come to an end. Mine came when I secured employment managing a crew of slaves working upon the new outer wall of the city. Profiting from my knowledge of the first law of gold, I saved the copper from my first earnings, adding to it at every opportunity I had until I had a piece of silver. It was a slow procedure, for one must live. I did spend grudgingly, I admit, because I was determined to earn back before the 10 years were over as much gold as you, my father, had given to me. One day the slave master, with whom I had become quite friendly, said to me, "Thou art a thrifty youth who spends not wantonly what he earns. Hast thou gold put by that is not earning?" "Yes," I replied, "it is my greatest desire to accumulate gold to replace that which my father gave to me and which I have lost." "'Tis is a worthy ambition, I will grant, and do you know that the gold which you have saved can work for you and earn much more gold? Alas, my experience has been bitter, for my father's gold has fled from me, and I am in much fear lest my own do the same. If thou hast confidence in me, I will give thee a lesson in the profitable handling of gold," he replied. "Within a year the outer wall will be complete and ready for the great gates of bronze that will be built at entrance to protect the city from the king's enemies. In all of Nineveh, there is not enough metal to make these gates, and the king has not thought to provide it. Here's my plan. A group of us will pull our gold and send a caravan to the mines of copper and tin, which are distant, and bring Nineveh the metal for the gates. When the king says, 'Make the great gates,' we alone can supply the metal, and a rich price he will pay. If the king will not buy from us, we will yet have the metal which can be sold for a fair price." In his offer, I recognize an opportunity to abide by the third law and invest my savings under the guidance of wise men. Nor was I disappointed. Our pool was a success, and my small store of gold was greatly increased by the transaction. In due time, I was accepted as a member of this same group and other ventures. They were men wise in the profitable handling of gold. They talked over each plan presented with great care before entering upon it. They would take no chance on losing their principal or tying it up in unprofitable investments from which their gold could not be recovered. Such foolish things as the horse race and the partnerships into which I had entered with my inexperience would have had scant consideration with them. They would have immediately pointed out their weaknesses. Through my association with these men, I learned to safely invest gold to bring profitable returns. As the years went on, my treasure increased more and more rapidly. I not only made back as much as I lost, but much more. Through my misfortunes, my trials, and my success, I have tested time and again the wisdom of the 5 laws of gold, my father, and have proven them true in every test. To him who is without knowledge of the 5 laws, gold comes not often and goeth away quickly. But to him who abideth by the 5 laws, gold comes and works as its dutiful slave. Noma says, "Cease speaking," in motion to a slave in the back of the room. The slave brought forward one at a time 3 heavy leather bags. One of these Nomercer took and placed upon the floor before his father, addressing him again. "Thou didst give to me a bag of gold, Babylon gold. Behold, in its place, I do return thee a bag of Nineveh gold of equal weight, and equal exchange, as we will agree. Thou didst give to me a clay tablet inscribed with wisdom. Behold, in its stead, I do return 2 bags of gold." So saying, he took from the slave the other 2 bags, and likewise placed them upon the floor before his father. "This I do to prove to thee, my father, of how much great value I consider thy wisdom than thy gold. Yet who can measure in bags of gold the value of wisdom?" Damn. Ain't that the truth? You get a little cough drop. That man said, that man said, that man said, but wisdom can be, hold on, what he said? Who can measure in bags of gold the value of wisdom? That's crazy. Let me stop on that for a second, y'all. You really can't even quantify wisdom, because to put a price on wisdom is to say, or to put a cap on the price of wisdom and try to quantify wisdom is to say that that person died and learned all they can die, and that was all they made. So let's, for instance, say you live to be 80 years old. In 80 years you made, let's do Warren Buffett. I think about around 80. I think around like 80 years old, he was maybe worth like $100 billion. So let's say Warren Buffett, his wisdom of 80 years equals to 100 billion. Okay, I mean that's a number, but you only capping that because he died. Imagine if he lived to 500, how much money would his wisdom be worth then? So you really can't quantify wisdom. We only can quantify it because the amount of time that we have to apply our wisdom in life is limited because we die eventually. But that's crazy. Without wisdom, gold is quickly lost by those who have it. But with wisdom, gold can be secured by those who have it not, as these three bags of gold do prove. It does, indeed, give to me the deepest satisfaction, my Father, to stand before thee and say that, because of thy wisdom, I have been able to become rich and respected before men. The Father placed his hand fondly upon the head of Namasir. Thou hast learned well thy lessons, and I am indeed fortunate to have a son to whom I may entrust my wealth. Calibat seized his tail and looked critically at his listeners. What means this to thee, the tale of Namasir? He continued. Who amongst these can go to thy father or to the father of thy wife and give an account of wise handlings of his earnings? Dang. Friday asked. What would these venerable men think were you to say to them? Were you to say, I have traveled much and learned much and labored much and earned much, yet alas, of gold I have little. Some I spent wisely, some I spent foolishly, and much I lost in unwise ways. Dost thou think it but an inconsistency of fate that some men have much gold and others have not? Then you err. Men have much gold when they know the 5 laws of gold and abide thereby. Because I learned these 5 laws in my youth and abided by them, I have become a wealthy merchant. Not by some strange magic did I accumulate my wealth. Wealth that comes quickly goeth the same way. Wealth that stayeth to give enjoyment and satisfaction to its owners come gradually, because it is a child born of knowledge and persistent purpose. Damn, boy, that shit crazy. That's crazy, y'all. Oh, I gotta write that down. I can't help it. That shit is. That's some. That nigga dropped some balls. I'ma still do this too, even when I have mad followers. I don't care. Cause we studying right now, y'all. So I be wanting y'all to hopefully y'all hear something that just make you be like, what? Boom, boom, boom. He said it's a child born of knowledge and persistent purpose. Man, that's what I'm saying, boy. Y'all be wanting some results, but y'all ain't willing to stay down. Y'all ain't willing to stay down. What my man's name is, y'all? Calabab? I got that. A little Instagram post. You know what I'm talking about? A little Instagram post. All right. I'm going to read that one more time, y'all. It says, because I learned these 5 laws in my youth and abided by them, I have become a wealthy merchant. Not by some strange magic did I accumulate my wealth. Wealth that comes quickly goeth the same way. Wealth that stayeth to give enjoyment and satisfaction. I like those two things. To its owners come gradually, comes gradually because it is a child born of knowledge and persistent purpose. To earn wealth is but a slight burden upon the thoughtful man. Bearing the burden consistently from year to year accomplishes the final purpose. The five laws of gold offer to thee a rich reward for their observance. Each of these laws, 5 laws, is rich with meaning, and lest thou overlook this in the briefness of my tale, I will now repeat them. I do know them each by heart because in my youth I could see their value and would not be content until I knew them word for word. The first law of gold. Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. Any man who will put by 1/10 of his earnings consistently and invest it wisely will surely create a valuable estate that will provide an income for him in the future and further guarantee safety for his family in case the gods call him to the world of darkness. This law also saith that gold cometh gladly to such a man. I can truly certify that this in my own life, the more gold I accumulate, the more readily it comes to me and in increased quantities. The gold which I save earns more, even as yours will, and its earnings earn more, and this is the working out of the first law. The second law of gold. Gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Gold indeed is a willing worker. It is ever eager to multiply when opportunity presents itself. To every man who hath the store of gold set by, opportunity comes for its most profitable use. As the years pass, it multiplies itself in surprising fashion. The third law of gold. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invested under the advice of men wise in its handling. Gold indeed clingeth to the cautious owner, even as it flees the careless owner. The man who seeks the advice of men wise in handling gold soon learneth not to jeopardize his treasure, but to preserve in safety and to enjoy in contentment its consistent increase. The fourth law of gold. Gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keeps. To the man who hath gold, yet is not skilled in its handling, many uses for it appear most profitable. Too often these are fraught with danger of loss, and if properly analyzed by wise men, show small possibility of profit. Therefore, the inexperienced owner of gold who trusts to his own judgment and invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar, too often finds his judgments imperfect and pays with his treasure for his inexperience. Wise indeed is he who investeth his treasures under the advice of men skilled in the ways of gold. The fifth law of gold. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who follow the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trust it to his own inexperience and romantic desires and investment. Fanciful propositions that thrill like adventure tales always come to the new owner of gold. These appear to endow his treasure with magic powers that will enable it to make impossible earnings. Yet heed ye the wise men, for verily they know the risks that lurk behind every plan to make great wealth suddenly. Forget not the rich men in Nineveh who would take no chance of losing their principal or tying it up in unprofitable investments. This ends my tale of the 5 laws of gold. In telling it to thee, I have told the secrets of my own success. Yet they are not secrets but truths which every man must first learn and then follow who wishes to step out of the multitude that, like young wild dogs, must worry each day for food to eat. Damn. Tomorrow we enter Babylon. Look, see the fire that burns eternal above the temple of Baal. We are already in the sight of the golden city. Tomorrow each of these shall have gold, the gold thou hast so well earned by thy faithful services. 10 years from this night, what can you tell about this gold? If there be men among you who, like Nomasir, will use a portion of their gold to start for themselves an estate, and be thenceforth wisely guided by the wisdom of Arcad, 10 years from now, 'tis a safe wager, like the son of Arcad, they will be rich and respected among men. Our wise acts accompany us through life to please us and to help us. Just as surely as our unwise acts follow us to plague and torment us, alas, they cannot be forgotten. And the front rank of the torments that do follow us are the memories of the things we should have done, of the opportunities which came to us and we took not. Rich are the treasures of Babylon, so rich no man can count their value in pieces of gold. Each year they grow richer and more valuable. Like the treasures of every land, they are a rich reward, awaiting those men of purpose who determine to secure their just share. He didn't say just awarding any type of man. He said a rich reward awaiting those men of purpose, those men and women of purpose who determine to secure their just share. They're determined to secure their just share. And the strength of thine own desires is a magic power. Guide this power with thy knowledge of the 5 laws of gold, and thou shalt share the treasures of Babylon. Talk to him. All right, y'all. That was it, man. He was dropping some balls, y'all. I already went over what I felt was heavy hitting bars that he dropped. I ain't got to go over them. We're going to be on chapter 6 next week. Maybe not even next week, but next week we'll do chapter 6. I don't want to lie to y'all and say when we're going to do it, but we're doing chapter 6 sometime soon. Hopefully within like a week or two. We'll get to it. And yeah, get moving. We'll be over it, man. We're going to get over this one. It's not even a thick book. It's thicker than mine. My books be tiny compared to these, but how many pages? 144. But this is a beautiful book. Gonna get through it, man. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Any feedback, all feedback is welcome. All feedback is welcome. Every comment is needed, man. My goal is to become better. When you know you got so much to do, so much to grow, it's best to be humble and take all the advice that you can. Like Jim Rome say, listen to it, but make sure that the decision that you make is of your own thinking and of your own thoughts. So I like some Palo Santo to end it. But yeah, Richest Man of Babylon, chapter 5. We got chapter 6 coming up. I hope that helps, man. I really, 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 really do hope that helps. I do not do this shit for fucking shits and giggles. I don't do it for views. I do this because I want this to be stored in time, and I want to give another perspective of a book. If we were all thinking the same way, the world wouldn't be okay. It would be a weird world. But if our spirits were all in the same place, then even if we thought differently, the world would be a great place. See, the problem is our spirits are in the wrong place, and we all thinking differently. And then it's kind of to the point to where our spirits are all in the wrong place, and we're all thinking similarly. People got self-destruction in their minds. People got fear in their minds. People have doubts in their minds. People have lack of faith in their minds, because that's what our spirits have. So we can get our spirits in the right place. And for some people, spirituality is a hard thing to test. So like, you might have to go and start off with your mind first by putting something inside of your mind. Even the book, the Bible, which is spirituality, it talks about making sure you read it every day to get that inside of your mind, the renewing of your mind. Again, oh y'all, I'm trying to make sure my hairline ain't going nowhere. I'm so silly. But nothing but love, y'all. Appreciate it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I got this coming up. This will be coming up soon. This book, we about to do this one soon. This one. I'll do that one soon, y'all. Get this one going. But for now, we got this one. The Richest Man in Babylon. For y'all, hope y'all like it. Hope y'all enjoy it. Remember to stay well, be conscious, write your will into existence. Love.